We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Ordained Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Ordained Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Everyone, welcome again to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am the host and founder, Professor Jamila Franklin, and it is so good to see you again. Yay! We have the wonderful, incredible Shaman Rah. He's my spiritual brother, okay, from another mother and another father. He is awesome. Okay, so before we get started, I just give you some background information for those of you who are new. Gray Lives on the Rise started about 2.5 years ago, and I was walking. And, all of a sudden I got this download in my consciousness. It said, there's nothing that addresses people who are 50 plus except AARP and Medicare. And I said, oh, wow. I get downloads a lot. And I said, wow, just out of the blue, it hit me. And it said, you need to think about that. And then more information came in. And I said, yeah, that's true. It said, okay, you need to have a store. You need to rename how you see yourselves, people in that group. And you need to have come up with a name. So I came up with the name Gray Lives Matter. I said, that's cliche-ish. I don't want to do that. And then the other name that came up was Gray Lives on the Rise. Okay. You see my shirt? Yeah. Okay. Isn't it wonderful? It comes in all colors. And Shaman Rah has ordered his shirt, and it's coming.
Can't wait to get it.
Yeah, it's coming. He ordered it in black, So we have the shirt, we have all this, because, people will be into a movement and then they will forget. So by having something like this in a mug, we have mugs, we have floor mats, we have totes, we have canvas bags, you name it, we have it. So by doing that, people then remember. And so we don't refer to ourselves as seniors or elderly or anything like that. We are vibrant, we are alive, we are golden, we are fabulous. So also, I said, what, the things that people who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s talk about, they are not of interest to most of us. Most of us have children who are out of the house, even grandchildren who are out of the house. And so we talk about things that are a little different. We're at a different stage in our lives, and we talk about things that are relevant to us. So in my travels and all this and talking to people, and also what happened is that we have people go to our store to order our products. I'll give you that information. But in terms of looking at this issue, I talk to people around the world, and I've had people from Serbia, which is in Eastern Europe, from Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, New Zealand, South Africa, Haiti, Costa Rica, where else? The Philippines, Saudi Arabia. I've had people on my show from all over the world. This is a global podcast. It's multinational. It's global, men and women, and we are making things happen. These people have been amazing. Okay. With this episode, it would be our 82nd episode. So we're doing well. We're averaging over 10,000 views, which are different than likes. So we are really, really really, really happy about that. So I haven't talked about that. I am a certified Reiki Master, and my background is kind of diversified. I'm an award-winning author, and I do some other things. Reiki, I'm certified in Reiki. I'm certified in aromatherapy. I'm a certified metaphysician. I teach psychology at the college level. I have my own institute. And I am excited about bringing my dear friend on today, but we have to pay the bills. And one of my companies, which is Jamila Sense, is the one that pays the bills. Okay, so I have to talk about it. And this is Peace Be Still. It is amazing. It's from my company, Jamila Sense. It gets rid of stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, migraine headaches. And all you do is just put it in your hands. I created it. Breathe it. Oh, God, it's so good. It just takes away all the stress, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, like that. So now having done that, if you would like to be a guest speaker on our international global podcast, you can get in touch with me through Oyende Enterprises. And that's OYINDE Enterprises.com. Oyende Enterprises.com. And click like and subscribe for all of the shows so you don't miss anything. We're on every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. And we have phenomenal people, right? So now I haven't done that little infomercial because you have to do that in order to stay relevant and pay the bills. My company pays the bills. So anyway, let me introduce you to my dear friend and spiritual brother. Shaman Rah DD is an author, spiritual advisor, ordained minister, Reiki Master, NLP practitioner, and certified hypnotherapist, and the founder of Oracle's Touch. He specializes in helping high-functioning individuals regulate their nervous systems, clear subconscious survivor patterns, and embody lasting transformation. Through his signature Living Bridge method, Shaman Rah blends somatic healings, vagal nerve regulation, shadow integration, sound therapy, and subconscious reprogramming to help people move beyond temporary breakthroughs into stable, embodied awakening. His work focuses on one core truth: transformation that is not stabilized in the nervous system does not last. Shaman Rah teaches clients how to create safety in the body and growth. Clarity and spiritual expansion can be sustained in everyday life. And so his wonderful program, The Living Bridge is a structured nervous system and somatic integration program designed to help individuals stabilize spiritual growth, regulate emotional patterns, and rewire subconscious survival responses stored in the body. While many people pursue peak spiritual experiences, the Living Bridge focuses on what happens after the awakening moment, teaching the body how to safely hold more awareness, emotion, and expansion without reverting back to stress patterns. The program is built on the understanding that the nervous system is the true gateway between the subconscious mind and embodied spiritual development. When the body does not feel safe, it will override mindset work, spiritual practices, and conscious intentions. So through a step-by-step process, participants learn how to establish nervous system safety through vagal regulation, expand their emotional capacity without overwhelm, identify and integrate shadow patterns stored in the body, increase somatic awareness and resilience, embody coherence so growth becomes sustainable rather than temporary. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Shaman Rah.
Hello.
Greetings, my brother. And you know, I call everyone beloved. So I tell people, that's just who I am. I call them beloved.
Thanks.
It's like I'm from the South. It's like I tell people, a hug for me is like a handshake. And I told people it's non-sexual, it's spiritual and energetic.
Right.
So people don't read a
Exactly.
lot into it.
Exactly.
So we have had a connection for a number of years,
Yeah.
way back when you were doing personal training and you helped me with that. And then we did some spiritual work in exchange in a barter situation. And now you have this wonderful program, the
Hmm.
Living Bridge, and I'm so happy for you
Thank you.
and all the accomplishments that you've had over the past 3 years because we've been on our separate journeys for about 3 years. Now, let's talk about the Lemon Bridge program. And I know that you have this wonderful book coming out. I
Hmm.
know that you have this TED Talk coming out. So let's do the deep dive. Okay, we're
Let's
going to do
go.
a
Let's
deep
go.
dive. We're going to have, you know how I am. You know how
Hmm.
I flow. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's not scripted. We just flow. We have a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And I am so proud of you, so happy for you,
Thank you.
because I think that you are amazing. And for people who don't know, I have utilized my brother's services myself. When he would do work on me, I would just go out into the ethers and I would forget where I was. I would lose track of time.
Oh
He
yeah.
would have the flute going and he would have the drums. He does a wonderful sound bath. He's still doing that now, and his work is just exceptional. I don't allow a lot of people to do spiritual work on me. I'm very protective
Right.
of Jamila.
You have to.
I'm
You
very
have
protective.
to.
So, but he was one of the few people that I had this exchange with. We would exchange services, and it was all. Every time I left, I felt reinvigorated. So I know your system now, the Living Bridge, is taking it to the next level.
Right. Yeah. This is taking a little bit further, and it's moving more from going into that peak state and getting out of your body to now getting back more into your body and really focusing on the nervous system. And the nervous system is the bridge. The nervous system helps us go from the physical to the spiritual and from the unknown to the known. It also helps us in transitions when we're looking at changes. And pretty much this whole program was birthed out of what we call liminal spaces. That's when we're in between, when we're kind of
Mhm.
leaving one career, going to another career, or leaving one relationship, going to another relationship, or as my father, and this is all kind of where it came from, was him transitioning from his living state to his passing state to the new state or rebirth. So I was kind of shown through spirit and through my father once he passed that you are a liminal specialist. You work with the nervous system. You've done this your whole life, and literally, I started getting these epiphanies and these memories, remembering that my whole life, even when you knew me back in personal training, I was always helping people between states. I was
Mhm.
always the person people would come to, and I work with many uh, different people on the genres of music and acting and
Mhm.
the CEOs of corporations. So I work with many people, and they would always come to me when they were on the downfall or they were in between a place, and they would stay with me. They would work out and they would feel good, and then they would, next thing you know, they would come back up and they're on the rise, and I would never
Mhm.
hear from them again. And I was like, man, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep having all these people come to me and then they disappear? Well, that's because I was a liminal specialist. And if you take this into the spiritual world, what that is called is a psychopomp. Like you hear about the clairvoyance, you hear about the clairaudience, you hear about the psychics, but there's something called a psychopomp, which is a person that basically is a liminal specialist, and they are there to create a threshold, hold the threshold, create a bridge, so that the person's consciousness can literally cross over into their next level of life,
Mhm.
and they can get the information of how to actually apply that now so they can move through the transition and move to the new space. And that
Mhm.
is my job. My job is not to walk with people on a regular basis and stay with them on their path. My journey is helping people to cross the liminal spaces. And that is done through the nervous system. And then when we look at the nervous system, there's one key thing that regulates the nervous system to say it's safe to cross over, and that
Mhm.
is the vagus nerve. And when we look at the vagus nerve basically sends a signal from itself up into the brain or into the body that I'm safe or I'm not. And then your
Mhm.
body starts to understand from there in the nervous system Either it's fight, flight, freeze, or flow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're out of flow, which is normal, we're not always going to stay in flow state. We want to be able to regulate the vagus nerve, so if we do go into fight or flight, we can quickly return back to the state of flow. Or if we get into freeze, we can return back to the state of flow. So the whole process of my program is regulating the vagus nerve first, and that's done through breath work, it's done through meditation, and it's done through sound. And
Mm-hmm.
simple exercises literally takes about 15 minutes a day in the morning, and they're so easy to do. It's breathing in and conscious breathing, just relaxing and just being in tune with yourself. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. The next
Mm-hmm.
step is breathing in and breathing out. 4 counts in, breathe out, 6 counts. And then you actually start to hum like a so that basically goes into the vagus nerve, because the vagus nerve starts from the back of the neck at the base of the skull and goes down through the neck, down into the chest by the heart, down through the solar plex, by the solar plex and all the chakras, upper abs to the lower abs, and it basically seats at the pelvic floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a nerve. All it does is says, I am safe or I am not safe. And when that nerve says I'm not safe, the nervous system puts up walls. So
Yeah.
what I'm teaching people to do is teach that you are safe. Now, the program is a 5-step program where it goes into vagal safety and foundation first. Then the next state is going into state regulation and threshold crossing. That's a beautiful place, because this is where I teach you how to go into the emotional places that are uncomfortable. And then when you don't feel good, you go back to your vagus nerve exercises and you step back out and you abort mission, kind of, sort of. So you go back in and you feel it's too intense, and you come out. This can be used in everyday life, where people begin to go into emotional states where the emotions begin to take them over and control them. So what happens is you have to learn how to step out of that emotion and go back into your foundation. Basically, it's through breath, but the first thing is you pause. You take a breath, you pause, and then you
Mm-hmm.
allow your intention to be realized of what's happening within you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how you step out of it. Then you get your clarity, then you can go back into the emotion and you come out. So that's state regulation, and teaching you how to go in and go out and cross the threshold, come back. That's step 2. Step 3 is where we basically begin to now go further. And that's when we begin to tap into the actual shadows. So that's shadow integration. And once we start to look at shadow integration, that's going beyond the crossing the threshold, and now that's regulating emotions. So now we can regulate the emotions. So now we can actually go into the shadows, and we can
Mm-hmm.
get this information that's stored in our subconscious and say, hey, it's safe to go further. It's safe to find out the real reason, because every karmic loop or every repeating loop that happens in your life that's a block is only repeating so you can see it. If
Mm-hmm.
you're not emotionally regulated, or if you're not emotionally in control, you can't see it and see it for what it's doing to help you to understand something in you has to change. And so you
Mm-hmm.
begin to learn that. So I teach you how to basically now integrate the shadow, integrate the fear, integrate what's keeping you blocked from what you want. And all this lives in the subconscious, which comes from the nervous system, which comes from the vagus nerve to say we're safe or we're not safe. So we either flow or we build a wall. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we build a wall, the nervous system stores that feeling, that emotion in the body. And then the body is then programmed to the subconscious from our experiences. So
Mm-hmm.
that's step 3. Step 4, we go into somatic integration. And this is where step 1, 2, and 3 become a regular practice. And then you just begin to see things differently, and you move differently. And you're actually now automatically regulating the states. You're automatically crossing thresholds. You're automatically in emotional control. You're automatically integrating or going to get the shadows. And now you begin to live differently. And so level 4 is a powerful thing. Now I'm actually doing a master class on this, and I'll be teaching this the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of March. And that's on my website. But and then the 5th, but let me just go back. The 5th step is coherence. And that's the beautiful part. That's when you become the actual energy of all your work. And you begin to just become coherent with the heart. Your nervous system now is so stabilized that when you walk into a room, other people stabilize. You become the living bridge for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if in essence, is what a cycle pump is. Now, can everybody be a cycle pump? Not necessarily, but everybody can get to stage 5, and they can be a force that begins to regulate other nervous systems. Cycle pump was a little different because we not just regulate the nervous system, we actually come in and create a threshold. So we actually align with your nervous system. Then your nervous system latches onto ours and says, okay, you're strong enough and we can go in here. So now we have a bridge that we can go as far as we want. That's why people were able to, when I do work on them, they go so far out. It's because I was bridging them so they could tap into their true innate powers within themselves. And that's where the whole science of the cycle pump comes in. Now, if you go into the Egyptian Neteru, Anubis was a cycle pump. And Anubis was one of the deities, the Neteru, that actually worked with me directly and taught me how to do things. And again, it's so interesting. All this came to me December 31st of last year when my father passed. He literally would ask me before he passed, son, I've been to your retreats, I've taken your classes, but I don't understand what it is that you do. I said, well, Dad, I help people to kind of transition between spaces. I help them find their peace, and I help them to make peace a baseline for them to live in. He was like, that's great, but I still don't know what that means. So he literally, I was in a ceremony 6 days after he passed, and his energy came right in. It was this golden red light with a black trail behind it, and this deep gold and deep red was just flickering, and I see his face and I feel his energy, and he's like, this is what you do. Now I understand. And he laughed and he said, I can help. And that's when the next day that was everything downloaded into me. This is what you've been doing. You've been training for this for 25, 30 years. You're very qualified because you've gone through the experiences. Now this is what you're doing. And next thing I know, boom, boom, everything just came into me. The whole vagus nerve, how to regulate it, how to use the sun, how to use sound frequencies, how to use meditation, how to use my voice, all the quantum hypnosis that I did in the past. Everything just came together, and it was just like, this is your system. And I was like, wow. So that's just a quick overview of the living bridge and kind of how I reached it at that point. But I've been doing this for so long and just not knowing what to call it.
Yeah. Well, I think you gave a very, very good synopsis of your journey, your evolutionary journey from the beginning, because I was there with you when you were doing the training all the way through up until here. So I see the evolution. And that's what happens. As long as you're on the spiritual journey, you're going to evolve. Hopefully that's what should happen. Exactly. And your father is now an ancestor, so he's able to help guide you. And that was the whole thing. He was here and he decided, because we have an expiration date, and our soul knows when we're leaving. We don't consciously, but the higher self knows, and the higher self said it's time, because it's time for Shaman Rah to evolve to the next level. I think that I think it's excellent. I think that is something that a lot of people, because there's so many different paths for different people, and I think the Living Bridge is an excellent path for people, particularly those people who have gotten stuck. And they need to do shadow work, and you're helping them integrate the shadow work into the practice, because a lot of times people don't know how to do it, and they're all in their heads, because for a lot of people, this is an intellectual exercise, and it isn't. This is an experiential and spiritual program. So I think this is wonderful. I teach people, because what you're doing is so amazing. Because with my 90-day program, I tell people, don't get over it, go through it. Because about 10 years ago, the common theme with a lot of they're now podcasters, but a lot of the people out there in the field, who Bob Proctor and all of them, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, all of them, they were saying, don't deal with the emotions. The emotions are not to be dealt with. just go through it because they're not that relevant. Now they're backtracking. They're saying something different. Because I had always, and you and I had talked about this too, because we agreed on this years ago. I had always tell people, I would tell them, if you don't deal with those emotions, because I'm a therapist, by training. I have my master's in counseling psych. So I would tell people, if you don't deal with that, you're suppressing it into the cells and it's going to come up. And your program is so amazing about the vagal part of it, talking about dealing with the nerve in the back of the neck and having people deal with those suppressed emotions. Because sometimes they don't even know. And what you do, which is so amazing, is that when people get their triggers, because this is where your program will really, really, really help people resolve some issues.
Right.
Dealing with the triggers, when the triggers hit and they can hit from out of the blue.
Right, yeah.
You're teaching them not to succumb to that. And what we're dealing with now in this country, a lot of people are being triggered.
Right.
A lot of people are being triggered. And they're feeling overwhelmed. Right. They're feeling scared. They're feeling helpless and hopeless. They don't know what to do. Right. And who to turn to. And this society is trying to make people become distrustful of one another. So I think that your program answers so many different questions on so many different levels.
Yeah.
And I applaud you for listening to Spirit and your Father, or the ancestors. Yeah.
Definitely. And the first thing that we have to really understand is, if the vagus nerve is not saying we're safe, we can't even do the shadow work. Because I had extensive shadow work programs, and I would get to the point where people just couldn't see the shadows, or they couldn't get through the shadows. It was so hard. And what happens is the nervous system holds old programs that say this is not safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here to this point, but then we're not going to follow through. We're not going to complete this, and we're going to circle back around and do something else. And when that begins to happen, that says your body's not safe. So your body is telling you I'm not safe. So the first thing we have to do is vagus foundation. And once we give the vagal nerve a foundation and create safety, then you can actually go across the threshold. That is key to everything. And even when people are awakening spiritually, if they get dysregulated because they're going too far and they're bringing too much information back because their nervous system can't assimilate it, then what happens is they begin to dysregulate, or they begin to go into emotional float or flooding, and they begin to abort the mission that they were doing, and they basically begin to do something different. They can't follow through, and they're like, hey, I don't know why I keep procrastinating when I get to this level. It's because the nervous system does not feel safe. The vagus nerve is telling you you're not safe to go to the next level. And everybody's consciously saying, I will go to the next level, but you can't consciously go to the next level because of the autonomic nervous system. And it's telling you, no, you're not safe. And if your body is not safe, it's going to freeze.
That's very true.
It's very simple, and it's a very simple concept, but everybody needs this training. Everybody needs it. And it's overwhelming to me, the people that don't understand it. And I get it, because being in the spiritual community for 15, 20 years, nobody really talks about the stabilization of the vagus nerve and the nervous system, and how important it is for the nervous system to be able to assimilate what's coming in, because the nervous system is the bridge to the other side, and the information comes through the nervous system. And if the nervous system is not prepared for what's coming through, it basically just purges it. It gets it out of the way. And it takes you back into the old somatic programs, or old programs that have been created from the unconscious to keep you safe. So you can say what you want to do all you want, but you can't do it because you're not prepared to receive the information. And in this day and time, so much information is coming through that we're advancing so fast that it's hard for our nervous system to say it's safe to advance this fast. Even looking at the world of AI. And just like you said, people are creating so much fear around so many things. Fear is the number one way to divide and conquer. So if somebody is in a state of fear, then everything shuts down. You go into freeze, and you go back into the innate that you don't even know is there sometimes. Just like you said, those emotions that have been buried over for so long. So it's incredible. I'm glad you made that point, because it all ties into safety and feeling safe.
Yeah.
When you feel safe, you can elevate.
Well, I'm going to make a sexist comment at this point. Well, you know how I am. You know how I flow. I just and I say, I have so much respect for you because you have always traveled into unknown territories. You have always pushed the envelope. And that's why I have always admired your work.
Mm.
And you have always worked with people, men and women, and you have respected women and you have respected men, and I really appreciate it. You're one of the few males that have kind of done this, in the early stages because I've been in this field for a number of years. And so I've looked at different people and how they have worked in terms of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And most males in this quote unquote spiritual field or whatever, early on, like I said, they wouldn't deal with emotions because it made them feel unsafe. They didn't know how to handle it. Because men are taught to be linear. They don't know how to deal with their emotions. And when things are non-linear, then they dismiss them and push it to the side, and they go to this cognitive thing in terms of prefrontal lobe and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Masculine energy.
yeah, masculine energy. I don't want to call it out. I don't want to call it out.
And men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Hey,
It's a
hey,
different process. It's totally
hey,
different. I get it.
hey.
I get
But
it.
but even with that, you have always been able in our work together. You have always been able to really look at both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, when you were doing the physical training thing, you were looking at the physical body, but then you were also looking at the download that you had to shift out of that and do things that were more spiritual
Mm-hmm.
and helping people go to the next level, even though you were doing that anyway, but you weren't doing it formally. And you've been able to walk that narrow line, and you've been able to maintain that. And I have so much respect for you because now other men are beginning to talk about the emotions, but
Right.
you were there early on because, like I said, we have discussions about
Yeah.
things. So this is, even though you didn't have a name for it, like your father said, you've been doing this.
Right.
You've
Right.
been doing this in all the different areas in which you've worked. So I just really commend you. You're like you are a bridge, and you are ahead of your time in a lot of respects in some of the work that you do. And some of the work that I've done, I've been ahead of my time. And sometimes people don't understand our work and they feel frightened by it and they step back because they don't get it until later on. It's, oh, now it's
Yeah.
Shaman Rah. Now Professor Jamila. Now I
Right.
see what you were trying
Exactly.
to do. But like you
Exactly.
said too, Mother Earth, Gaia is saying, you guys are going to have to shape up because
Yeah.
she's moved on to the fifth dimension. And
Right.
if people
Yes.
are not there, that's why they're running around like chickens with their heads off
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they don't understand what's going on energetically. And she said, I waited for you for several millennia. I am out of here.
Exactly.
You're going to either
Exactly.
get on this
Exactly.
train or you're going to get left
Exactly.
behind. And
Yeah.
so with you, the bridge program, I think it's just amazing. It's something that men can definitely relate to
Right.
because
Right.
it's dealing with the physiology
Right.
and the anatomy, and they feel comfortable with that. And
Right.
then you're easing them into the emotional part of
Right.
it. So,
Hmm. Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's a beautiful program. I'm so glad it came to me and it came together quick, and it's just like pulling everything that I've been using, like you said, for years,
yeah.
years and years, and walking that thin line between the emotions and the physical and the spiritual and the mental, and just understanding how to intertwine them gently. And that's one of the things about this program. This is not a forced program. This is a program
Right.
that is gently done because you can't, you know, wrestle the nervous system into doing what you want it to do. It has to
Hmm.
be it has to be gentled and has to be taught that it's okay and moving through that process, and it's a gentle process, and it's one also, especially when I'm using quantum hypnosis, where someone goes in and they actually begin to look at the emotion that is causing a repeat karma or repeat loop in their life that they want to change. They go in and they find the emotion, and we just observe it. And when you observe it, it sees it's being seen. It sees itself as being seen, and then it says, "Hey, I'm ready to communicate." And next thing you know, you start getting these thoughts about the emotions and where the actual emotion comes from. and where it moves in your body. And you just say, hey, okay, what would you like to do? What would you like to say? And sometimes it just wants to move, and people feel the emotion move from the heart to the solar plex, to their legs, to their feet, to the hands, to their head, out of their body. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this emotion just left because I allowed it to actually do what it wanted to do. And that's something that I learned. You have to let the emotions go through their process. You can't direct it. You have to sit back and observe and just watch and let the emotion go through what it's got to go through, and let it give you the knowings that you have to know, and then it's ready to leave. But sometimes we get so used to that emotion and where it's stuck, and the charge that comes behind it, that charge creates an attitude that then creates or gives us an opportunity to have motivation to do something. And so we're working out of a negative emotion to actually do the things that we want to do. And yeah, we get results, but at the same time, we're still limiting ourselves. So when we can release that negative emotion, or release that emotion that's blocking us or not allowing us to move forward, then we can become a little bit more limitless. And that's what the whole purpose of this whole nervous system program is taking you so deep into well beyond the vagus nerve, and it's well into the spirit, well into the ancestral realm, well into what the nervous system of the earth does and how we can align to that. And that becomes another bridge. So many, I mean, it's there's so many places you can go with this that help people to understand how to become safe and how to actually assimilate, process, and apply, embody all the information they're getting from those meditations, from their peak state performances when they go outside of their selves, their out of body experiences. So it's like, what do we do with that information? And that's what I'm here to help people to understand with the Living Bridge. This is how you do it. So the Living Bridge actually is a program that helps people sustain their awakening, not just bring it into your body. It's like when we go outside of our body, we think, and this is a classic state of dysregulation. When somebody goes out into meditation, they say, I don't want to come back into my body. I don't want to be here on earth. I want to stay on this place here in the ethers and of the unknown because it feels so good. Well, in the Living Bridge program, I help you to understand where you're going outside of yourself is nothing but the places inside of your heart. So when you can then go out there, and that's where the state regulation and threshold crossing comes in. When you can bring that information back and you realize that, wow, that's the fifth dimension, that's the new earth, and that's already inside of me. And now I recognize that I don't have to become anything. I just have to be who I am. And that's the shift in the new earth right now. There is no more I have to become something. You already are it. Now you just have to recognize it. But sometimes the nervous system says, I'm not safe enough to recognize this because that means I'm going to have to change. And there's some old habits that I really kind of like. You know, so I don't want to let those go. But the Living Bridge helps you to understand through the heart and this coherence, those old habits just evolve, transform into something better. So that's the whole process that I go through. I mean, it's so deep. I mean, I could talk about it all day long because one thing leads to another thing, and it all starts with just allowing these emotions to move through feeling safe. That's where it all starts.
Well, I think, like I've said, I think what's really powerful about this is that, particularly for people who are intimidated or who feel afraid to do the deep dive into the spiritual work by itself, it's a wonderful, like you said, it's a living bridge. It gives them the opportunity to deal with the physiology, with the body.
Yeah, because that's it. You hit it. It's the physiology. The spiritual awakening is in the physiology. It's in the body.
Exactly.
It helps people go in the body and not have to be the woo-woo and going outside. You know, it's confusing to people. So the Living Bridge brings you in. So thank you for saying that. I'm so glad I needed to make sure that was heard.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And for a lot of people, that's a safe place for them to start. Yes. And what you're doing is you're breaking down the technical piece. Because when people hear certain words, they're like, okay, what does that mean? I don't understand it. But you have 5 steps and you've broken them down very clearly, very succinctly, where people can look at these steps and say, okay, I can do this. And with your energy, which is very calming, very, very soothing, and it's not threatening to people. They feel I'm in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
So I can now explore things, especially for those people who are not used to exploring their emotions, and they run because society has told them that that's not safe. Particularly men, it's not safe for men to open up to vulnerability because they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to remain stoic and masculine, whatever that's supposed to mean, all the time. Whereas your program is so amazing. Well, beloved, look, because you and I can talk.
We'll talk all day.
We can talk like we used to do. We can talk all day. But look, I want you to tell people about your retreats, what you're going to do. They need your contact information and all of that. Let's
Okay. Sure. If you want to contact me, you can find me at 2 different websites. The website that talks about the Living Bridge, especially, really gives you a lot of detail, is shamanrah.com.
Okay, spell it out for those people.
That's Shaman, SHAMANRAH.com. And there you can find out all about the Living Bridge. And if you want to find out more about what I'm doing on a regular basis, Oracle's Touch is the other website, and that has hours and hours of information about the awakening process, about spirituality, about how to integrate life and shadow work, so many different things.
Okay, and spell that for them too.
Okay, and that is www. That's oraclestouch.com. So those are 2 websites. Now, if you want to get in contact with me directly, just email me at oraclestouch@gmail.com or sr@shamanrah.com. So either one of those works fine. You can email me. I'll be glad to sit down and talk to you. There is a 15-minute discovery call that you could book on my website, either one of them, and I'll sit down and talk to you about what you're going through and how the programs I have can actually help you. And you can find me on social media at Oracle's Touch, Shaman Rah. You can find me on Oracle's Touch on IG. You can find me on Oracle's Touch at YouTube, Oracle Touch on Facebook, Oracle's Touch on TikTok. You can find me at Shaman Rah on Instagram as well. So shoot me a DM. I'd love to sit down and talk to you. Look at some of the recordings I have about the Living Bridge. I've done numerous podcasts now talking about it, so you can get a lot of information about the Living Bridge program. I do have a book that's coming out in April, which is, thank you, I'm a co-author of the book, and the book is called New Earth Leadership, and there are 9 incredible authors that are from all over the world that have written this book, and this is a framework for New Earth living. So just like I'm talking about the nervous system and how to actually be instead of trying to become, we talk about that as a whole framework from 9 incredible practitioners. The book was put together by a lady by the name of Livia Devi, who is a channeler of the Arcturian Council. She is incredible. When I tell you she channels and she brings those light codes in, your life will change. So she is the leader of the group, and she put us all together, and we're writing this book. Is coming out the end of April, and we'll do a book tour. We'll be in New York doing a book signing there, and at the end of the summer, my book is coming out, kind of piggybacking on that. The chapter that I wrote in the New Earth Leadership is called The Living Bridge, and my book is called The Living Bridge, which is a stabilized or manual for stabilized awakening. So that book will be coming out into the summer around August, and I'll be doing some book signings with that. With the book launch, I'll also be preparing for a TEDx talk that I'll actually be on, and mini podcasts just to talk about the Living Bridge and the process. And that book is powerful because it details out those 5 steps that I talked about. It also goes into the true aspects of the awakening. Like when people go through the awakening and think, hey, I'm good because I'm going out, but I'm not coming back in. So it breaks down. It's like 40 pages where I just break down what the true awakening is about, so you can understand if you're experiencing these things. Backpedal, back step, and redo this and start here, so you don't get a false, secure mindset of the awakenings you're doing, because it could be dysregulating you, and it could be sending you into a place of fragmentation. So I want people to understand how that works. So a few things I got going on, and Peru. I'll be in Peru for the month of May, and I have about 4 more spaces open for that actual retreat, and we'll be in the Andes hiking and doing deep meditations and healing work for the heart. So that'll be there. I think it's the 2nd through the 9th, and then the 10th through the 19th, or the 10th through the 17th is when we're actually having the first retreat and the second retreat, 2 back-to-back. So if you want information on that, go to the website, and it is on there as well. Just click the link, and again, we have 6 places, and actually it's a 7-day retreat, all inclusive. You get there, and it's only $2,000. So it's and that includes all of the hiking, and I can give you more details on the different medicines that we'll be using down there as well. Very gentle medicines, though.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. It's wonderful. So you have provided people with the ways in which they can contact you. You've given them the information about your wonderful TED Talks and your books and your retreats in Peru. There will be 2 in May. And you have these wonderful meditations too.
Yeah.
They are. Oh my goodness! I gave them to some of my clients, and I'm protective of my clients. Like I'm protective of me, so I don't put them onto anything that I think is not uplifting and enlightening. And they really, really enjoyed those. So, how can people get your meditation?
If you go to the website Oracle's Touch, they're actually on the front page. They're ones that are there. If you shoot me a DM or an email, I'd be glad to send them to you. And if you download the app, if you go to the website, you can download the app. That app has the meditations on it as well, under music.
So are you doing any? We talked briefly about this before we started. Any more sound baths? Your sound baths, which is really amazing.
I do online Zoom sound baths on every other Wednesday, and I will,
okay.
Yeah, so every other Wednesday it's their Zoom, but I will actually have some in-person ones starting next month. I'll be starting in person. I'll be doing 1 event a month, and if you are interested in learning drumming, I do have drum circles, and actually they're every 3rd Saturday of the month, and they're at a place called Egyptian Eyes. So I'm pretty active around. You can find me doing something every month.
You're at Egyptian Eyes. I know Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Destiny very well. Destiny is one of my clients.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, I know Destiny well. We move in similar circles, my brother. You know that.
Of course, it's a small
some of the
world,
same people.
When
Yeah.
you start dealing with the folks that are in a certain frequency, it's a small world, small community.
Yeah, I know Destiny well. And so in our remaining few minutes, are there any points that you would like to make before you make your points? I just would like to thank you on behalf of our community, Three Lives on the Rise, because we have been trying to have this happen for a minute, and things were going on and happening.
Right.
And I was like, where's my brother? Has he forsaken me? I mean, you know, I'm persistent. I circle back around. I'm persistent.
Exactly.
You know how you know how I feel. I said, because you've done some talks for my group in the past before. I think even when I had my Blog Talk radio show years ago, I think you were on that. And then you've done some other talks with me. So I had definitely desired to have you on this podcast. For everyone that's listening, he is amazing. His energy is awesome. He's authentic. He's the real deal. He cares from the heart chakra. It's not a commercial thing for him. Right. He's done things for people at no cost, low cost, and whatever, because he really cares about elevating the energy on this planet. And we have so many people out there who have different kinds of energy that are not of the highest frequency, and it's all about money with them. And for him, that is not the case at all. So please look at his program, The Living Bridge, follow him. And if someone wants to follow you with the newsletter, like I said, I thought I was getting it, I'm not getting it anymore. So how can they follow, how can they subscribe to your newsletter?
Just go to oracletouch.com, ORACLESTOUCH.com, and just become a member. And everything will actually download, and you'll get a copy of the app. And you can go into the app and you can get notifications from there. But I also send out notifications. I also will send you a WhatsApp group that you can join. That you can actually get directly to your phone, because emails sometimes get a little lost. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, I don't have WhatsApp. Mine was hacked. But so I would just have to depend on the email system.
mm-hmm.
So what are the lasting words that you would like to leave with our
Well,
beloved community?
I would like to say it's simply about knowing who you are and being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
We're not broken. Our nervous system basically just created a system to keep us safe from
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. So I want you to understand that the Living Bridge is a program that helps you to actually transcend that and know who you are and live who you are in the now, and knowing that you're already fully abundant and you have the ability to attract anything that you want if you just
Mm-hmm.
allow yourself to know you're safe enough to do it. Living in the new earth is about knowing and not about becoming or trying or
Mm-hmm.
pushing. So I want you all to know that. Okay. And I'm here to
Um,
support you. And Professor Jamila has so many programs as well. Take part in them. And sometimes just sitting quiet and breathing for simple four counts in, four counts out, just to hear your breath will begin to create the safety. And I have plenty of meditations actually on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. You can hear them there, but you can also hear the meditations on Apple Music and Spotify, all the major platforms. Just Google Shaman Rah, and all the albums come up, and there's probably 5 or 6 meditations that are there that are beautiful.
yeah, they are. I was listening, and then I've, things have been changing for me so rapidly. I'm glad that I'm getting this information again, because I used to listen to one at night, and it was just so transformative. I would just go to sleep with it at night. It's
Yeah.
really calming and relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
So, my brother, I am so pleased that we finally had this happen. I don't
Thank
feel I don't feel forsaken
you.
anymore.
Well, thank you. I'm sorry you felt that anyway, but yeah,
Well, you know
yeah.
me. You know me.
It's all right. It's all
You
good.
know me. No, no, no. No, you had a lot of things going on. I had a lot of things going on too. I've had some major, major transitions in my life.
Yeah, you
Woo!
have.
In
Yeah.
the last 3 years that we have not been in connection. So things happen, like you said before, in divine time.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to step away and then reconnect. And as all these wonderful things have happened in your life personally
Mm-hmm.
and professionally. And I'm so proud of you, because we had kind of envisioned for these things to
Right.
happen, and they've
Exactly.
manifested.
They have.
So
They have.
yeah, yeah, just wonderful. I'm so happy for. And then you and your lovely wife are doing. She does the yoga part, I
Yes,
think.
she does the yoga part. Yes, she does
Okay.
affirmation, soul affirmation yoga, where she holds you into a position for a certain amount of time and speaks affirmations into you until that joint opens, softens, and the emotion that's caught in that part of your body releases. So it's a powerful,
Wow.
powerful system of yoga that she does, and she is going to be starting back up doing those once a month. She also does those online as well on
Oh
Wednesdays.
wow. I need to really get in touch with her about that,
Definitely.
because I mean my legs are up like this. They don't go down. I have been talking to these joints for years. My mom was really flexible, and I said, "Go down." My hips like, "Honey, we're not going anywhere. No, we're not doing that." And I'm like, "Come on."
No, it
So,
just takes some time just to let go and get into those spaces, and yeah, she can
yeah,
definitely help you with that.
and gently help. Yeah, I would really love. So, is her information also on your
Yes,
website?
it is. Yeah, yep. Her classes are right on. As soon as you go to the front page, it's right there.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So we're promoting our sister,
Yeah.
our brother and our sister. We're promoting both of you globally. Okay.
Thank you. I
That's what we're
appreciate it.
doing.
We need it.
Yeah,
We need it.
in South
Definitely.
Africa and all these other places. So know that I love you, my brother, to the moon and
Love you
back.
too.
Your beloved, beautiful, beautiful mate.
Thank you.
I know she's amazing, like
Yeah.
her hubby. She can't be anything else but,
Right.
like attracts like. So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
thank you for joining us. And for those of you who are joining us, definitely get in touch with my brother, Shaman Rah. You would not be disappointed. And try to get on, not try, I don't like the word try. Get on his calendar before he starts traveling to Peru and these other places.
Right.
And he does these TED Talks. He's just going to expand more than he has already.
Book a
And
discovery call. Book a discovery call. That's all you have to
yeah, book a discovery. Perfect. Book a discovery call.
right there on the front page. As soon as you access the website, either one of them, book a discovery call. Just do that.
Book a discovery call. And they can book a discovery call with your lovely wife too, right?
Yes, they can. They sure can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So book a discovery call with her because I know she's a beautiful soul. I've seen a picture of her and perfect couple. Okay. Beautiful couple. And she can help people like me get those legs down.
Exactly.
Okay. Let them think up like this. And
Get them down.
Gently, because I've been hammering them to say, honey, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere.
Yep.
So that's amazing. So we can get in touch with her. What's her name?
Her name is Angel.
Angel. Oh, wow. Befitting.
Yeah.
Befitting. Angel. So you can get in touch with Angel, beloved Angel, and beloved Shaman Rah.
Yeah. Just book a discovery call.
Book a discovery call. Okay. All right, beloveds. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And for those of you who are in the audience, you know how this goes. Like, subscribe, and comment, and tell others about it. And definitely go to my website, oyindeenterprises.com, OYINDE Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com, and see all the programs that we have. And Great Lives on the Rise, that's my newest baby. Click on it so you can stay in touch with everything that we do. Until next time, beloveds, know that I love you and namaste. Take care. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Sense, which is the product line of Oyinde Enterprises. Jamila Sense is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.